Africa Good Morning keeps you abreast with the latest happenings across the continent and beyond every weekday morning. My name is Aina Raizakoyo and this is Africa Good Morning. In today's broadcast, South Africa Court declares section of Sexual Offences Act unconstitutional. Nigeria boat accident leaves dozens feared dead in River Niger. Angola records 200 cases of human trafficking in the last 9 years. You can follow all our programs on our website, which is called oneup2.com or DSTV 285 or GoTV 25 in Namibia. We'll be right back after the break with our top stories.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In our top stories this morning, a landmark ruling by the Pretoria High Court declaring sections of the Sexual Offences Act unconstitutional will offer new hope for victims of gender-based violence. In 2022, the non-profit organization The Embrace Project, along with survivor Inge Holtzreger, launched a case in the High Court to challenge how South African law defines consent in sexual offences. The case aimed to improve legal protections for victims of gender-based violence. It feels amazing to have won this victory. Although this is not the final step, it's a big move in the right direction. Justice can be slow, and someone who's been through this process, I understand the frustration when justice isn't served. Now, Holtzreger said, who was 20 years older at the time of the incident, reported a rape case in June 2018 after meeting a man online and then arranging a date with him during which he had sex with her without her consent. Despite her testifying in February 2019, the accused was acquitted in March of that year. The court acquitted him on the basis that it could not be sure that the accused subjectively knew he did not have consent. However, on Monday, the Pretoria High Court declared parts of the Sexual Offences Act unconstitutional. The judgment awaiting confirmation by the Constitutional Court will require accused individuals to take objectively reasonable steps to ensure the complainant's consent to sexual activities. This means the law will shift from a subjective to an objective test for consent, offering more protection to survivors. The Embrace Project and the Holtzreger argued that the current law are not strict enough on those who claim they believe there was consent. Moving over to our next story, dozens of people were feared dead after a boat carrying mostly women and children returning from a religious festival capsized in northern Nigeria. A local emergency official and residents said on Wednesday. The incident happened around 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday when the wooden boat packed with nearly 300 passengers sank in River Niger. Abdullahi Baba Aram, head of Niger State Emergency Management Agency, said rescue workers and volunteers from Niger's rural Mokwa local government area have rescued 150 people. He added, the search and the rescue operation is still ongoing to locate more survivors, Ara said in a statement. Asmalia Umar, who leads an association of boat skippers in Mokwa, told Reuters that chances of finding survivors were slim. This would be the second such major disaster in Niger State in 18 months after more than 100 people were killed in another boat accident. Overcrowding and poor maintenance are responsible for most boat accidents in Nigerian waterways. And I will move over to our next story, where at least 45 people have died and dozens are missing after two vessels carrying refugees and migrants from Africa sank off the coast of Djibouti, the UN's migration agency said. The International Organization for Migration said on Tuesday that the boat left Yemen with 310 people on board before sinking in the Red Sea. IOM is supporting state emergency services in search and rescue operations, the organization said in a post on X, adding that there are 32 survivors that had been found. Djibouti's Coast Guard said a joint rescue effort has been underway since nearly on Monday, with 115 survivors now rescued and dozens still missing. The boat sank just 150 meters from a beach near Djibouti northwest Khor Agha region, and the Coast Guard said tens of thousands of people seeking a better future leave Africa and cross the Red Sea each year to reach Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states in what humanitarian organizations have described as one of the busiest and arguably most dangerous migration routes in the world. Known as the Eastern Route, human smugglers pack refugees and migrants into overcrowded vessels as they set off from the Horn of Africa and head for Yemen. From there, they travel to the Gulf state in search for work. Moving over to our next story. 200 cases of human trafficking have been recorded in Angola in the last 9 years, the Secretary of State of Human Rights and Citizenship, Ana Celeste Januario, warned on Tuesday in Luanda. The official, who was speaking during the thematic session at the Program of the Promotion of Human Rights, stressed that the provinces with the highest rates of this phenomenon are border provinces as well as Luanda, as it is the capital. In relation to other cases of human rights violations, such as these related to the excessive use of force by national police against street vendors, she made it known that these have been decreasing and offenders are being held accountable. She called on society to comply with the established rules and in this case, to carry out commercial activities in the appropriate places, to keep the city clean and to respect the established rights, thus avoiding less good situation in relationship with the agents of order with regard to cases of domestic violence and escape from paternity. She said that these are situations that still concerns the human rights sector. And now we cross over to Sudan. A top Sudanese general has said the army will press on with its offensive despite international efforts to broker a ceasefire in the 17-month civil war. Peace talks can go on and on and on, but the army will not stop for that, Assistant Commander-in-Chief Lieutenant General Ibrahim Gabar told the BBC. He was speaking just days after the army launched an operation to Nigeria control for the capital Khartoum from the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The two sides have been fighting since April last year when their leaders fell out of the country's future. This has created humanitarian catastrophe, with more than half of the country facing hunger, 1 million forced from their homes. The general also hinted in the wide-ranging interview that the Sudanese authorities had weapons dealing with Iran and denied there was famine in the country. After the break, we return with more news. Please do stay with us.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
And now for international news, let's take a look at the recent briefing by Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, on the situation in the Middle East.
Madam President, Excellencies, the raging fires in the Middle East are fast becoming an inferno. Exactly 1 week ago, I briefed the Security Council about the alarming situation in Lebanon. Since then, things have gone from bad to much, much worse. As I told the Council last week, the Blue Line has seen tensions for years. But since October, exchanges of fire have expanded in scope, depth, and intensity. I stated that almost daily exchanges of fire by Hezbollah and other non-state armed groups in Lebanon and the Israel Defense Forces are in repeated violation of Security Council Resolution 1701. I emphasize that the daily use of weapons by non-state armed groups is in violation of Security Council Resolutions 1559 and 1701. And I stressed that Lebanese sovereignty and territorial integrity must be respected, and the Lebanese state must have full control of weapons throughout Lebanon. Madam President, in the few short days since then, we have seen a dramatic escalation, so dramatic that I wonder what remains of the framework this Council established with Resolution 1701. Israel forces have conducted relentless airstrikes across Lebanon, including Beirut. The United States and France, with the support of several other countries, have proposed a temporary ceasefire allowing for the restart of negotiations. Israel refused that proposal and stepped up its strikes, including bombing the Hezbollah headquarters where its leader was killed. And Hezbollah has continued rocket and missile attacks on Israel. And yesterday, the Israel Defense Forces conducted what it stated were limited incursions into southern Lebanon. UNIFIL peacekeepers remain in position, and the UN flag continues to fly despite Israel's request to relocate. I reiterate our deep appreciation to the military and civilian members of our UN peacekeeping force, UNIFIL, and to troop-contributing countries. The safety and security of all UN personnel must be ensured. Madam President, civilians are paying a terrible price, which I utterly condemn. Since last October, more than 1,700 people have been killed in Lebanon, including over 100 children and 194 women. Over 346,000 people are confirmed to have been displaced from their homes, and government estimates put this number as high as 1 million. Another 128,000 people, both Syrian and Lebanese, have crossed into Syria. The UN has mobilized all its capacities to provide urgent humanitarian aid in Lebanon, and I ask the international community to fully fund our appeal. Since October 8, Hezbollah attacks on Israel have killed 49 people, with over 60,000 people displaced from their homes. It is absolutely essential to avoid an all-out war in Lebanon, which would have profound and devastating consequences. Madam President, yesterday Iran launched approximately 200 ballistic missiles towards Israel. It stated it was in response to the killings of Hassan Nasrallah and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard's Corps Commander Abbas Nilforushan last week, as well as that of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran in July. Millions of people across Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory were forced to seek shelter. One person was killed from the Iranian strikes, a Palestinian in the occupied West Bank.
It's time for us to have a look at today's weather predictions from Southern Africa.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In economic news this morning, Kenya has launched a digital nomad work permit allowing remote workers to live and work in the country. Kenya has announced the introduction of the digital work nomad permit, a significant step aimed at welcoming global digital professionals to live and work within the country. This initiative, announced by President William Ruto during the opening of the Magical Kenya Travel Expo on October the 2nd, 2024, seeks to position Kenya as a prime destination for digital nomads, allowing them to work remotely while enjoying the country's diverse culture, natural beauty, and high-quality lifestyle. The digital nomad work permit will be specifically tailored to cater to remote workers, offering them the opportunity to make Kenya their base while serving their clients globally. We move over to our next story, which comes from Mozambique. The Council of Ministers yesterday approved a decree by the terms for concession for the Pemba Port and Logistic Terminal infrastructure in Cabo Delgado province. The concession was granted by the government to Pemba Bulk Terminal Limited, a joint venture formed between CD Properties and Portoros de Cabo Delgado SA. The infrastructure is considered crucial for the logistical operation for the hydrocarbon exploration projects in the Romuva Basin, Cabo Delgado. The concession was recently awarded through the direct negotiation to the consortium, which is expected to invest approximately 14.2 billion meticai, both on land and in water, to enhance the infrastructure. And now let's have a look at our economic indicators.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
And now let's have a look at today's highlights. It's a great relief, says a rape survivor, after court declares sections of the Sexual Offences Act unconstitutional. Nigeria boat accident leaves dozens feared dead in River Niger. Kenya's Ruto announces digital nomad work permit for remote workers. And we've come to the end of today's edition of Africa Good Morning. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place.